there is a good chance we can knock it in the head this week, but we're going to have massive calling in to the Congress immediately after this program today.
Ted, more than that, you've I would imagine have done hundreds of interviews. Have you done hundreds of interviews the last month on this?
Oh yes, Yeah, I'm doing constantly broadcasting. It's coming to a head because Senate Majority Reid says he's got to have the hate bill passed by the August recess, and this arms appropriation. Yeah,
because they know Obama's stalling and losing power by then. They've got to pass the green takeover, the carbon tax enslavement. They've got to pass the gun grabbing. They've got to pass the open borders. They've got to get it all by the winter. But the reason I brought up if you're doing interviews, I've been doing a lot of national and regional shows myself lately, and they'll say, Alex, what's most important right now? And I go, well, the hate bill and the cyberbullying bill, and then I'll read the subsections on air. And these talk show hosts are shocked. They aren't even aware of it because there's such a news blackout.
Yes,
that's why we're so blessed to have you. So I would also encourage listeners to get the stories that Kurt Nemo's written off Infowars.com, off PrisonPlanet.com, to get the reports off TruthTellers.org, to get the video clip from YouTube that you're linked to, and pass that on, the direct link to people, so they can see this for themselves. So not just calling the Senate, or is it just best to call the Senate?
Well, right now, you see, we only have several days' time to do this, because if they have a markup session as early as next Tuesday in the Senate Judiciary, the hate bill then will be predestined to go forward very rapidly. They could have a markup session, and the liberals there could vote to move it forward as an amendment. Then it could they could go through the Rules Committee the next day, only an hour for that, and be on the floor of the Senate by Wednesday. So really, now,
why did you say Monday? It could be by Friday. So I mean, we've obviously won some battles since I was reading your site Monday.
Yeah, but you see the margin in the House, we had a massive margin in favor of the hate bill, something like 74 votes. In the Senate, it's different. It's much more dicey. There's probably 7 or 8 votes in favor of the hate bill over the Republicans. Okay. But what we have to do is destabilize the Democrats, letting them know in no uncertain terms that if they do vote for this hate bill, that we the people, we're going to remember, because the midterm elections are coming up fairly soon. And one of the reasons the Democrats want to rush it through is because they want to get this past them. This pro-pedophile hate bill is not going to sound very well in the sound bites a year from now at midterms. They want to get this Orwellian anti-Christian legislation taken care of now, so that the family can emphasize family values for the next half of this Congress. So right now is the crucial hour. We got to get those calls going in. Again, the toll-free number to your senator is 877-851-6437. Again, that's 877-851-6437. And the backup toll number is 202-225-3121. That's 202-225-3121, and just give them this simple message. Have you watched the shocking video that shows Attorney General Holder saying there is no equal protection under the hate bill? It's on the homepage at truthtellers.org.
Well, I mean, Reverend Ted Pike, there is no doubt that these people are out of control. I mean, the hate bill, I agree with you, is the big hot topic right now. It's what they're trying to pass right now. But you look at everything else, the seizure of all energy production and all human activity, taxing the carbon cycle, what plants breathe, carbon dioxide, saying what plants breathe is a deadly poison, listing it as a deadly poison now. I mean, this is insanity. Trying to start new wars, the anti-gun bills, the likes of which we've never seen, and then all these hoax articles in the mainstream saying there is no gun bills. Why are people buying guns? I really see this all coming to a collision, because it looks like the establishment is bum rushing right now. Are they doing that out of strength, or are they doing that out of desperation, realizing that the people are becoming wise to their new world order?
Well, I think they are. They're doing it out of desperation. The ADL has global ambitions, and it's in a race with the new alternative media of the Internet, talk radio, and so on, which is spilling the beans about their role as the architect of most of this legislation. But we have to realize that, yes, these are all other great concerns. These other bills are very threatening. But if we lose speech under the federal hate crimes bill, we will lose all our other freedoms, freedoms to criticize these other pieces of very threatening legislation. So number one priority, this is kind of the beating heart of our republic, is to keep that precious free speech alive. The hate bill is a sword pointed at our free speech.
Well, I agree with you, Ted, but let's expand. Let's say they do pass it and try to implement it. We've then got to fight it every step of the way. I mean, for those that don't know, you know them. I've had them on. It's mainstream news that in Philadelphia, preachers that come out to street corners and preach are charged with hate crime by the state and taken to prison. And then huge court battles ensued. These people, this is not just our opinion. They mean business. And, folks, even if you disagree with somebody coming out and protesting you, the point is, if you take their freedom of speech, we live in a tyranny. I mean, I don't think people realize, Reverend, you're not joking. In fact, it's hard to describe just how real and hardcore this is.
Yes, and it's spreading like a cancer through all the Western industrialized democracies. America is a holdout. We still do not have a federal hate crimes law. ADL wants to internationalize hate crimes enforcement with the rights to deport people like Rudolph and Zundel and others.
They want to have you arrested if you say global warming isn't real.
That's right. They're very aggressive, very Orwellian in their desires to basically take away all of our rights.
All right, Pastor Ted Pike, truthtellers.org. Thank you for the great work you're doing. Let me talk to you here behind the scenes. I may even hold you over if you can. If not, we'll go to our next guest. But I want to talk about what it would be like under the Soviet system, because really I've studied it. The corporate system's more fascist, but the implementation is more Soviet. It's kind of a hybrid. What will Soviet America be like?
Are you concerned for the safety of your loved ones? Listen closely to this message from pepperspray.com. Every 22 seconds a violent crime is committed. America has changed, and your personal safety is your first priority. Be smart. Be safe. Trust Pepper Spray instead of your luck. Pepperspray.com is the only website you'll ever need for all of your non-lethal self-defense supplies. Pepperspray.com carries one of the largest assortments of pepper spray and personal safety products on the web. From big to small, we have it all. Pepper spray, mace, animal repellents, stun guns, and tasers. Pepperspray.com also carries a large assortment of products for personal, home, child, and pet safety. Enter SAFE in the coupon box and you'll receive a special discount off of your order. So what are you waiting for? Go to pepperspray.com. That's pepperspray.com. Or call 1-800-908-9988 today.
Is it getting better?
Can you imagine federalizing local police? It's already happening. And making them political officers just like the Soviet Union.
Will it make it easier on
Pastor Ted Pike, I already see the media setting me up.
Got someone to
openly saying the New York Times they've got to put gatekeepers on the web. The CEO of a news group, Rupert Murdoch's company, saying arrest bloggers, ban free speech. I mean, they really are starting to figure out that we're taking them on, and so they're going to try to get nasty. I don't see it succeeding, but if they pass this bill under this Soviet model that they're adopting, what will happen to Alex Jones?
Well, the broadcasting industry is going to start receiving guidelines from the FCC that language which might induce, aid, abet, and so on, according to the 1968 law, Title 18, Section 2A, will now become indictable as a federal crime. And it'll be in the same category as inciting to riot or shouting fire in a crowded theater, things like that. And you'll be experiencing tremendous pressure coming down to force you to become much more neutral and bland in what you say. If we want to know what American talk radio will be like, just go up to Canada. Up in Canada, you can talk about gardening, you can talk about sports, or whatever you want, but you cannot criticize federally protected groups such as homosexuals, Zionists, and so on, in specific terms. You certainly cannot say from the pulpit or from the airwaves, if you're a Christian broadcasters, that the Jews killed Christ 2,000 years ago. That is considered a hate crime in Canada, and it's also considered a hate crime in Canada to quote Leviticus or Romans from the Bible, saying homosexuality is an abomination. That will give you an immediate $5,000 fine if that pastor ever preaches again on that subject from those verses. He is facing contempt of court charges, and which means prison.
And everybody's so cowed that the police are like desperate spiders in black holes. David Icke comes walking in saying, I think there's reptoids from planet, whatever. And they say, that's code, arrest him. And David's going, no, brother, peace, love. Yeah. It's flying saucers. You're not even allowed to talk about flying saucers up there. They arrest you. Everything is hate.
Yeah, and there's so many other groups that want to get on the hate crimes bandwagon.